Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and welcome to Jane in the B1 BIS. This, what is it, a 2.0 battle rating French heavy tank, is no surprise to people that have been playing anywhere around the battle rating. If you encounter France in that BR range, you're gonna encounter several B1s of the BIS or TUR variety. And if you get the chance to pick up the B1 TUR, it really is one of those derpy vehicles that is an absolute blast to play. You will definitely be booling on some people in low tier, so don't play it all the time if you would, but it really is a nice little vacation in a bottle as a, what is it, rank 1 or rank 2 premium in the French line. I don't have my War Thunder open right now to check, but I do know that it's going to be one of the vehicles for this month's War Bonds shop. So get your daily tasks in while you're grinding Operation Suffer, and it's really not all that bad. You just play the game, guys. Just forget about progress and play until you get that star once every 2 days and you're golden. It is going to take a little longer for tanks, but that is not the topic for discussion today. The B1 TUR will be available for War Bonds, so avail yourself of that opportunity if you feel like getting this vehicle. I think it might have been removed from sale for GE, so it is somewhat rare as well in terms of supply. And having already picked up 2 quick and easy kills and slapping away some German lower velocity, what is it, 45 I think millimeter cannon that early model Panzer III has, and then smacking him with the old 1-2 punch, just like you find with the M3 that I featured recently on the channel. The B1 is an intrinsically painfully French design, definitely behind the times and the front lines, but it's able to hold its own with an amount of stability that far exceeds French politics. And that is only helped by recent improvements to the way that the first gear of cruise control works for several vehicles, as well as the shoulder stabilizer that the B1 has access to for its 45mm main gun. Yes, the small one, that stubby cannon on top the turret. One-man turret crew. An unusual option in War Thunder. Not a lot of vehicles have a one-man turret, and yet the B1 used to be much more difficult to play because of the way reload rate was represented for the one-man turret. Now, along with other French vehicles that really needed the buff, the B1 also, in not a recent update, as Jane takes down another poor bastard, just waiting for his doom at the hands of one of the actual heavy armor meta tanks of the game. The B1 also received the benefit of a significantly reduced reload time for its main gun in that one-man turret. The other French low-rank tanks definitely needed whatever help they could get in terms of reload rate, and it just wouldn't make sense to not also give that benefit to the B1. In fact, this is a heavy tank, cross your fingers, that has really been on the receiving end of a lot of buffs since its introduction. And that is why it's one of the most common and most deadly French tanks at this tier. Admittedly, an area where France definitely needs as much help as it can get. I hear that rank 1 France and reserve France can be extremely difficult almost as difficult as finding exactly where that Panzer 38 is amidst all that foliage. He was his very own Tannenbaum, but he got bombed right out of the area. And now, as Jane engages in shutting down the enemy reinforcements where they can be found, it's not really spawn camping if you fought your way here and you're just running around blowing up everybody that joins the match. Look at the map. You can see that Jane's team either controls or is about to control pretty much the entire map, and that leaves you one place to be. Don't blame Jane, blame the game. I am happy that Gaijin does continue to listen to players when it comes to spawn protection, and it's definitely a tricky issue. There's a lot of things involved, and basically, by the time a match gets to this point, the enemy team has already lost. So, in things like Air RB, you can end the match early by completely destroying the enemy's bases and airfield. In sim matches for air, you can destroy enemy airfields, and in the helicopter sim mode, I think you cannot destroy air bases. So there's something of an inconsistent balance when it comes to the ability to deny the enemy a location to respawn from. And if I was going to make one change to War Thunder, I would completely remove the idea of an exclusive spawn zone entirely, the idea that you spawn at one side of the map and then have the opportunity to capture zones somewhere in the middle. And what I would do is just turn your spawn points into capture zones that you already control and give players the ability to spawn in any capture zone. Yes, that would be controversial, but to make up for that, I would take away spawn protection entirely. Yeah, that's a pretty radical change to the game, and I don't expect to see that, actually implemented, but I'd like to see it tested somewhere. I think that would be really interesting to see what it would be like to have a game mode where you can actually capture the enemy spawn. But maybe that's just a dream. And let me tell you something, the 8-7 Das Deutsches Volk lineup, the German people's either democratic or democratic socialist lineup is absolutely fantastic. They have both a very capable IFV. Yes, it really is Stop Complaining, even if it doesn't match up to something like the Bradley, which really should be probably an entire battle rating higher than it is in the game right now. You also have access to some very quality MBTs. You have the Leos, the later model Leos, and you have the fantastic G91, which of course we're going to see in this match. I suffer a little bit from American privilege, and that is that I've been playing America for so long, I forget that the FJ4B VMF is actually an event vehicle, and I wonder why more people don't play it. But the American A4B is fantastic and almost matches up to the G91 in almost all areas, as Kayamizo dodges a couple of ATGMs and returns fire with fortitude and puissance, taking down... Wait a second, is this a mixed battle? Yes, indeed. It's Germany mit Germany. In the struggle for the ages. What if Mr. Gorbachev was forced to knock down or to tear down that wall? It's civil strife in das Deutschland, and our hero getting a nice cannon barreling and then having a missile sink itself into that enemy AM. and getting some fire, but remaining mostly unscathed. The enemy heavy machine gun not managing to take him down as a second missile goes in. It takes down the turret of that premium bias machine. Isn't it interesting that the best Soviet medium tank at that BR has a golden name tag? just a little edge for you all. It's not overpowered, it's just very competitive. I haven't been playing mine. Maybe I should, but I just kind of feel dirty when I look at my Soviet lineup. It's empty except for a couple of premium vehicles that are very, very strong. G91 time. So, with already 9 kills and cutting straight into the action as he sends his first Nord AGM into the fray, you can tell that Kayamizo is a shotgun-style user of the AGMs, not spending a ton of time guiding it, in fact, letting it loose, and with a whispered, "Fly, my pretties," he sends it into enemy territory, unguided. Guided missile though it be, and I've got to say, that seems to work out well enough for people like the European Canadian and Kayamizo, but I've had a lot more success in my FJ4B and while World War mode was going in my G91 by spending a little bit more time guiding in the missile. I tend to attack from a vertical orientation from about 2 kilometers away, and that gives me enough time to dodge AA fire if that's coming in, and to guide in my missile, pretty much guaranteeing a kill most of the time. So there are different ways to play this aircraft, and I definitely don't have the reflexes and the precision that I'm greatly enjoying watching Kayamizo use in order to play the aircraft the way he does. Taking what is probably AA fire from the enemy helipad and shredding what is probably the worst helicopter in the game, the Magic School Bus, which can barely get airborne with a full rocket loadout. Kayamizo now with an air kill and 10 ground kills, definitely pulling his weight in this match that will end up being a victory for his side. And I'm just not going to show you the last few seconds of this one, as I'm always trying to save you guys a little bit of time. And well, you'll see what happens. I like the way this video ends, is what I'm saying, so I haven't given everything away. But shredding the bane of aircraft and ground forces players alike, the Italian pizza wagon that probably belongs at like a 6 or 7.0 battle rating, but exists at a 3.7 because fuck you. What, you can't just leave little mozzarella holes? No, that's it's Swedish cheese that has the holes. Swiss cheese, right? I'm so good at names today, guys. I'm actually awake when I'm making this video. If you guys usually hear me when I'm tired and sad, it's because I usually record at like 11 p.m. after what is generally a fairly stressful day of taking care of the kids. It's not too bad, but they have zero patience, and they don't understand that, like, they're not allowed to all yell at me with requests at the same time. Wait a minute. I'm an honorary Gaijin mod now for some reason. But I also smell the pan that I'm seasoning over on my burner. That's smelling a little bit hot, so I'm going to have to check on that soon. But I'll just let a fire go in my kitchen to share this replay with you all. That's how dedicated I am to the craft. And speaking of craft, this aircraft is going in for a landing. Kayamizo with an incredible score. Sorry, Kayamizo. Kayamizo! I love my life. But I've just been so busy lately, and it really, the thing that I dislike the most about just the amount of attention I've been spending on my kids and stuff, and I know it seems like an asshole thing to say, but I really miss being available to talk to you guys whenever. And I know that I've always been terrible at, like, seeing when a message is waiting for me, but it's getting worse, and I just want you guys to know that when you reach out to me with a DM or whatever, I absolutely love that. I especially love it just hanging out and finding out how's life with you guys. You might have noticed I ask that question a lot, and I mean it every time. I love hearing how life is going for you guys and talking about what's up. And another thing, you may have noticed that the replay bug persists where if you rearm, your AGMs do not appear on the pylons in replay mode, so we aren't entirely sure how many AGMs Kayamizo has left, but he's about to shred. Wouldn't it be cool if he used a Nord to destroy that PE-8? Anyway, the what are they, 30mm cannons? They're good enough. Good enough, I tell you. And he manages to survive the process. Always gratifying. I've been flying my B-29 a bit lately in RB matches, in tank RB matches, and I've been having a total blast. I managed to shoot down an ME-410, and he caused some really, really nasty damage to me, but I survived, put out an engine fire, and landed the dang thing. I might have to show that in a video somewhere, but I was listening to a Twitch broadcaster at the time, so you might not get the best of it. Head on with, what is it? Someone just shredded his wing. What is powerful enough to take a G91 in a head-on as Kayamizo launches off his last, presumably, Nord AGM, hoping for the best? Who shot him down other than a BF-109? Looks like maybe an F or a G model. Perfection. Catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.